G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video. Support your boy. Support good content at all times. Now we have Regis Prograis versus Julius Indongo for an interim 140-pound title. Now I did a video prior to the fight saying that this is going to be a coming out party for one of these two guys. And I admitted that I didn't know much about Regis Prograis. Didn't do that much homework on him. That's why I didn't do a prediction for the fight. I also acknowledged that I didn't know much about Julius Indongo. We all know Julius Indongo for one reason and one reason only. He is the guy that fought Terrance Crawford for all of the marbles at 140 pounds. In the third round, he got hit with a body shot and he started rolling on the floor like he had the bubble guts. He had some contaminated meat and it disagreed with his stomach and he just started rolling on the floor after that body shot. But that's, we're not going to get too much into that. Now, I sat and I watched this fight as a fan, looking to be impressed by one or both of these boxers. Now, what happened in the fight, I just wasn't expecting for that to happen. Point blank, period. Regis Prograis went in there and, he was just smacking Julius Indongo around in the second round and got Julius Indongo up out of there in very impressive fashion. I was very impressed by what I seen with Regis Prograis. Now, I was right. It was a coming out party for somebody. It was for Regis Prograis. As I thought. You knock out a guy that just fought for all of the marbles at 140 pounds. You knock him out a round sooner than some people's pound for pound number one, who was Terrance Crawford. Like, Regis Prograis, at that time, I'm like, all right, well, he just introduced himself to the boxing world. Like, he could potentially be a star off of this victory. And then after the fight, something weird happened. People were talking about Regis Prograis, but they wasn't really talking about Regis Prograis. Like, he was getting props, but he wasn't getting his real props on defeating Julius Indongo in the fashion that he did. All everybody was talking about was Terrance Bud Crawford. All everybody was talking about was Terrance Crawford and how his resume at 140 is weak. The fact that his Undisputed was overrated. Basically, his whole run at 140 pounds was not strong. And I've really heard that talk after what Prograis did to Julius Indongo. And I heard this from everybody. From people that I'm cool with, just in life, YouTube channels that I respect, YouTube channels that I don't respect. I even had some subscribers, and let me take that back. Anybody that subscribes to the channel, y'all are not subscribers. Like, y'all are officially my boxing family. It's hard being a boxing fan, a boxing hardcore fan, and you don't have any friends to talk hardcore boxing with. That's me. So that's why I actually started this channel, to actually find good people that are hardcore boxing fans or casual boxing fans that are trying to become hardcore boxing fans. So anybody that's a subscriber to this channel, y'all are my boxing family. Always remember that. But let me get back on track. I had some of my boxing family tell me, yo, G5 Jeff, you bugging. You bugging. Like, Terrance Crawford is not that dude. He's not that dude. His resume at 140 pounds is trash. He hasn't fought nobody. He's a weight bully. This, that, and the third. And at the time, I was just like, nah, his resume is okay. And I was just really defending Terrance Crawford. Mind you, that Terrance Crawford is one of my favorite fighters. And everybody was saying the same thing about Terrance Crawford after that fight. They were saying, listen, Terrance Crawford at 140 pounds just didn't do anything. And the one thing about me, I'm not biased. I'm not biased, number one. Number two, when I'm wrong, I will openly admit it. So what Regis Prograis did to Julius Indongo, I had to sit back and actually reevaluate how I looked at Terrance Crawford. His reign at 140, his opponents at 140, and even the Undisputed championship. Now, anybody that's a hardcore boxing fan knows that one of the biggest accomplishments a boxer can accomplish is going undisputed. Like, it's damn near unheard of because of the political landscape. Champions not willing to fight champions, a whole lot of ducking, a whole lot of bitching, all of that. So it's rare. So at the time that Terrance Crawford won the Undisputed Championship of the world at 140 pounds, I was one of the main people defending Terrance Crawford. I was like, wait a minute. This hasn't been done since 2006, 2007. Jermaine Taylor, Bernard Hopkins. This is a rare feat. I'm not allowing anybody to disrespect Terrance Crawford when he was the Undisputed Champion for like 10 days, 12 hours, 24 minutes, and 24 seconds. I wasn't going to let anybody disrespect Terrance Crawford at that time. But it took for Regis Prograis to completely annihilate Julius Indongo for me, G5 Jeff TV, to realize, you know what? You might have been wrong about this Terrance Crawford situation. I need to sit down and reevaluate this. Now, mind you, going undisputed is still a great accomplishment. Do not get me wrong. But see, now I had to dissect the actual road and the path that Terrance Crawford had to go through. And how Terrance Crawford became undisputed. He defeated Tomas Delorme for a belt. He defeated Victor Postal for a belt. And then he defeated Julius Indongo for 2 belts. And that's how he became undisputed. And I think about it, and I looked at Julius Indongo in the Terrance Crawford fight. I looked at Julius Indongo in the Regis Prograis fight. And the first thing I was saying about Julius Indongo was his punches is wide. His punches is too wide. Anything up the middle, he's getting tagged. And I look back on it now and I'm like, how the fuck did Julius Indongo end up with 2 belts to begin with? I'm like, whoever fought Julius Indongo must have been trash. I mean, absolute trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolute trash. So when I actually measure up the actual road to get the undisputed, I'm like, that's like the easiest road you could possibly have to get the Undisputed. And listen, this is no disrespect to Terrance Crawford. He's still one of my favorite fighters in my eyes. In my last pound for pound video, I had Terrance Crawford #1. I might have to revisit that. But, I mean, that's the easiest road you could possibly get to become undisputed. And like I said, it's no disrespect. It's facts. You know, it's similar to, you know, you take it to basketball, and let's just say, you know, Houston makes it to the finals. Houston makes it to the finals. They beat Golden State to get to the NBA finals. But when Houston faced Golden State didn't have Steph Curry. They didn't have Kevin Durant. And they won that, they won that series. And let's just say, Houston goes up against Cleveland in the finals, and Cleveland for some reason doesn't have LeBron James, and Houston wins the NBA championship. Yes, Houston would be NBA champions, but it would kind of be tainted because everybody would say, yeah, you the champ, but you ain't beat Golden State with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. You ain't beat Cleveland in the finals with LeBron James. We not giving you no real credit for that. We going to acknowledge that you a champ, but we not giving you no real credit for that. And I feel like that's the best example of what's going on with Terrance Crawford right now. Like, people aren't disrespecting Terrance Crawford, but they're basically saying, you got an easy road to undisputed. So now I understand why some people are hard on Terrance Crawford. And listen, it's okay. Terrance Crawford's going up against Jeff Horn, a legitimate welterweight. A guy that's going to bring it. And this is Terrance Crawford's first fight at 147 pounds, which is a title fight. So if Terrance Crawford is who I think he is, which is the absolute goods, he's going to show it at welterweight. And he's going to have every opportunity to show it at welterweight. And if Terrance Crawford got any type of fraud in him as a fighter, it will get exposed at 147 pounds at welterweight. But it's funny how one fight can sway a multitude of opinions when it comes down to a certain fighter. Like, that Regis Prograis fight had me thinking, like, damn, like, could Regis Prograis been undisputed with that lineup? Could Regis Prograis actually defeat Tomas Delorme at that time, Victor Postal at that time, and then Julius Indongo? I would say, yeah, Regis Prograis probably could have been undisputed if you gave him those three opponents. Hell, Sergey Lipinets might have been undisputed if you gave him those three opponents. Tomas Delorme, Victor Postal, and Julius Indongo. That's crazy, and I never thought about that until after the Regis Prograis fight. So I'm glad that fight happened with Regis Prograis and Julius Indongo, because it helped me, G5 Jeff TV, shed a little bit of light on just being undisputed. Like, it's not just about being undisputed, it's about the road that you had to take to get the undisputed. And there's no fault of Terrance Crawford, because he only can fight who's in front of him and who's the champions at that particular time. But y'all let me know what y'all think. G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video. Support your boy. Support good content at all times. Appreciate y'all. Peace.